Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to this video of demonstration of our ADX JET drive. So the JET drive is fully integrated. It includes a power supply, a control, and a drive. It means that you can just install it with minimal effort into your machine, connecting a few IOs, and it's ready to go. So this is why we call it the JET, because it's really easy and fast commissioning. It has all the features of ADX, including the high frequency PWM. So this drive is capable of doing PWM at 80 kilohertz, which is giving it the capacity to be connected to very small motors, which are having very small inductance. And then you don't need anything else to drive it. You control the current inside the motor in the best possible way, having real sinusoidal form three-phase currents, which indeed give you the best efficiency of the motor, low thermal losses, and first, really high efficiency. It works in open loop as well as in sensorless mode. So the sensorless allows us to control any DC motors, a permanent magnet or asynchronous, with the sensorless mean, which really gives the motor a virtual sensor and really optimize its usage. You will see later on that we are able to run the motor of demonstration here, which is 25 millimeters of diameters with as little as 300, 200 milliamps just in idle. So what do we have on the JET? We have mainly an HMI, which is a touchscreen, and this is really what the user sees, yeah? So it's the interface for the user. And then on the back side, we have all the connections. So we have connections for the main inlet, which is 230 VAC down to 110 VAC. We have the motor output, which is in this case an intercontact M17. We have an optional feature which allows to monitor in real time any air pressure that would be applied for the motor for cooling. This allows to not drive any motors which is not supplied by air. So this is something which is optional on our drives. Then we got this sub D9 connectors, which is the safety connectors. So it features the STO Seal 2, so safe torque off functionality. We have a general I/O connectors where we have all the input and output connection, which are to control and to see status from the drive. And we have this sub D15 as well, a male this time, which is for a potential sensor of your motor. So it can take TTL sensors as well as overtype, 1 volt peak to peak and others. So this is very versatile. And we have an RJ45, which is capable of connecting to any Ethernet hub or connection that you would get in your factory or in your machine. That's it. So let me plug it and I'll be back in a second to show you how it works. So now we have it started. So I'm gonna give you a little tour of our HMI and the functionality. So it's all touchscreen. I'm gonna use a pen with touchscreen capacity just for the sake of the video and not being always in front of the screen, but you can indeed use it with your finger all the time. So we have a slide that can be activated or deactivated to set the speed. This is done by the I/O on the back. You can also set the speed by really directly inputting any speed you would wish to see. And off it goes. We have a display of really what is the set speed, what is the general status of the drive. So this change colors if it's warning or error status. We got the display of the actual speed, the actual current, and the actual power. And we have a load indicator on the right side. We have a start-stop button. This as well is activable or deactivated by IO's selection on the back. So you can all control it by the HMI or directly by the IOs and analog inputs on the back side. We have some shortcuts button that goes to the status page and to the parameter page. So that's it. Let me start it. So I'll put a random speed and start. So you can see it's going through the initial open loop and then it closed. And now we are running the motor at 30,000 RPM just below 200 milliamps with a power of 5 watts going to it. And you can change the sliders, you will change the speed directly there. Very easy, very intuitive for anybody to use. Second page is the same as the first one with the actual RPM run. It just shows you the load indicator with a larger scale. So if I, for example, put a little force on the motor here, you can see the load is going higher. If I go down in speed, so the load is going higher, and you can really see that in a wider format. So if you are far away from your machine and you just want to monitor, you can really see it from far away, this indicator. So that's the second page, which is basically the first one with just only the load indicator to be seen from far away. Then we have a third page, which is one of the nice features that we have in our drive, which is an integrated oscilloscope, where you can really see the three main parameters of interest, so the RPM, the speed of the motors, indeed, the current and the power. This is automatically starting. You have about 20 seconds of visual on it, and what is nice about it is that, for example, you can see if I constrain a little bit the motor, just to give you an example, you can really see the cycle that you are running in your machine, your machining cycle, how it behaves in terms of current, speed and power. This is as well all adjustable. So if you want, for example, to see that in a larger scale, I'll just put 500 here and it restarts, and you see that the scale is bigger enough for the current. So it's really all controllable and settable by touchscreen. So this is the oscilloscope function, which is pretty nice, and that a lot of people love it because it gives them visibility on really a cycle and how it works in terms of machining, for example. Then we have the fourth page, which is the status page, where we see the status of the drive. We will see there any alarm, any warning, anything related to the status of the drive. We have the indication of the temperature of the drive, a reset button if you need to clear some errors. Then the next page is really the setup page. So in this setup page, we have a few selections and a few status displayed. So we have the rotation. So this is basically something that you tick or untick to change the direction of rotation of your motor. Then we have some status, RPM set internal and control set internal. This is the status of the IOs on the back, which allow us now to control the speed and the start-stop of the drive internally, so it means on the HMI. We have a status of what is seen on the analog input, so 10 millivolts for sure, there is nothing connected right now. And we have what is seen by the pressure monitor of the motor, which is nothing right now because nothing is connected. But you could really see here what would be inputted on those two figures. So let me stop the motor so I can go into the different page. All right, so you see it's very dynamic, very responsive. So we have a reset drive button. So it's basically doing a reset like you would do a fresh startup. So this can be useful to clear some fundamental errors, but it's just there for functionality, not very often used indeed. We are able to force internal commands, mean whatever is connected on the backside, whatever you instruct the drive to, you can force it to be all controlled by the HMI. So this is a functionality which is useful when you are doing commissioning and things like that. We have an email setup. In this email setup, you can really set an email address and a name for the drive. And really, the drive itself is capable of sending a status email to this entered address email, giving you warning updates, status update, and so forth by email every time something changes. So this is a good functionality when you connect the drive by Ethernet to the internet. We have a running sequence features, which is new. So this page here is just to say, okay, this is all going internal control. The running sequence is nice because you can do the running of your motors. So if you rested some time and you need to do running, you can do it all automatically in this tab by setting the number of steps, the time per step, and the speed difference of each of the steps, and start it. So basically we'll run this sequence, 10 steps of 120 seconds in this time, 15,000 RPM per step, and it will do it until the end, and then your spindle will be run in and you can use it straight away. You have the functionality of having it stopping automatically or not. So if it doesn't, it goes to 100% and then wait. And if it stops automatically, it reaches 100% stop and say this is completed. So this is really up to the user. So this is a nice functionality of the drive. We have a clean screen functionality, which is there to disable the screen for the time you clean it. Touchscreen calibration, if anything needs to be recalibrated on a touchscreen. Basically a little sequence that you need to run touching the screen at various places to calibrate it. And we have the parameter page. So if you click on the parameter page, you'll get to a page where you can select the parameter which is in use. You can store up to 15 parameters inside the drive and really slide through them with the simple touch screen here. Once you select your parameter set, you can apply it and it will straight away apply it. Another possibility is to have an optional ball inside the drive which is auto-selecting the parameter set. It's basically having a code inside the motor connectors, and it automatically selects whatever parameter number is the right one and applies it straight away. So if you have multiple spindles and you want to do this automatically and connect multiple spindles to the single drive, you can really set your parameter set offline and download them to the drive, and then the drive will select them automatically, whatever is plugged on the back. So this is as well very nice. What else do we have? We have a save command here, which is to save whatever you change in this screen. And then we have the final page of the HMI, which is the about screen where you see the parameters of the drive. So this is a 510 amps. So it's a JET 010, serial number, firmware number, everything related to embedded. The IP address, which is set for the drive. This time it's a fixed IP. It can be automatically selected by DHCP. And you have a QR code to get to our web page. So that's it. Let me get back to the first page and show you one last time a startup. So now we can go up to 60,000 K. You see, very fast, very easy. Touchscreen selection. And if I force it a little bit, you see the load indication on the right side. All right, I hope you enjoyed the tour. Thanks for watching.